The New Jersey Devils have a massive decision to make regarding backup goaltender Jake Allen. It will impact Nico Daws, and as always, the man that's got to make it, Tom Fitzgerald. Boy, it's going to be an interesting offseason, not only for just the players in terms of the bottom six, and are they going to get Quinn Hughes, this, that, and the other thing, but the backup goaltender role is going to be vitally important for the Devils, and we're going to chat about that in this video. But before we get into the program, I want to give you a chance, be one of the first subscribers. Be one of the subscribers to Devil's Digest. I know we're really starting to kick it into gear, so we appreciate everybody that has been listening, has been watching, and has been subscribing. But we want more of you. We want more subscribers always here on Devil's Digest. So again, I'm Ryan the Gosiker here with you, and we've got a great video planned for you in terms of the Jake Allen stuff, and then I'll touch upon my last video near the end. We'll have some fun with that. So again, appreciate everybody listening and watching. But if you watch the Devils this season, you know Jacob Markstrom was excellent when he was there. He had his little rough patch when he came back from injury, but I really have to believe that Jacob Markstrom, would have been in the running for one of the top goaltenders in the league, the Vezina Trophy, had he not gotten hurt. You can hate me for saying that, but just look at how he was playing going into the game he got hurt. It was very, very difficult for the Devils to overcome that, and very difficult for Markstrom to overcome it as well, missing 5 weeks. Now, 2 of those weeks were the Four Nations tournament, so not too much, but it certainly had an impact on Markstrom. Their backup goaltender, Jake Allen, really throughout the course of the year was just up and down. He was just like a giant roller coaster. He was like King the Ka. He's your favorite roller coaster. Then when Markstrom was really struggling, he really picked it up for this team to a point where I believe we have a couple videos in the archives, I should say. They're still on the channel, so they're not hidden from anybody. But I believe either me or my partner Aiden Barrett had done videos on who should be starting, right? I mean, it really was a question there for a while. Markstrom found his groove and obviously, helped guide the Devils to the playoffs and was awesome in the playoffs. Now, the problem is Jake Allen's contract is up. Markstrom's is up at the end of next year. So that's a whole different discussion for this time next year. But for right now, let's focus on Jake Allen. And I saw this the other day that Bill Spaulding said Fitzgerald says he will be speaking to Allen's agent about the future and that they really like their tandem this year in net. And I have to say, I really did too. And this is going to be a little bit hard to see. I apologize. It's hard to fit all these games in here. But if you're just looking at Jake Allen's game log here, again, as I mentioned, you really see towards this back half of the season, he was good for this team. He was what the team needed, given that Markstrom was trying to come back from injury. The problem was, early on, he was very up and down, very inconsistent. And you can see that a little bit in here in some of the game logs here as well. Again, I apologize for being a little bit small, but it's hard to fit all those games into a photo that everybody can see. Now, the Devils, as I mentioned, are going to have a huge, huge decision to make. Do they bring back Jake Allen or do they bring Nico Daws to the table? Here's Nico Daws' game log. Not a ton of action for New Jersey. I believe that Colorado game he came in relief. Okay. But certainly if you're going to take anything from this, it's very good, right? And for the 5 starts, he was over a 900 save percentage. Okay. Again, very difficult to maneuver around a 5-game sample size. Here's what I will say. I believe Jake Allen, when the Devils traded for him in 2023-2024, it first of all was much needed because at that time their goaltending situation was a disaster. However, what a lot of people forget is Allen costs a lot more than what he currently costs the Devils because I believe the Blues retained a lot of that salary. So the Devils got him at a cheap price because St. Louis was picking up the other end of the bill. So when you're talking about going to the free agent market, Allen will be 35 next year. Okay. I'm not holding age. If the Devils were looking to extend him for 5 years, yeah, I'd be worried about the age thing. But as we know, Markstrom's getting up there in age. But I think it's going to come down to cost. And for the Devils, you're talking about a team that you want to get this guy. You want to get, and we'll get into throughout the offseason who the Devils should be targeting. But it's not cheap, right? Luke Hughes is going to sign an extension soon. I know, again, I've been reading through the comments on some of the videos. Not everybody is a fan of the Hughes brothers, okay? But Luke Hughes is going to sign a contract here, and he's going to sign a big one, okay? So that costs money, right? The rest of the roster is going to cost money. We talked about in the last video, they have to rebuild their bottom six because it's a disaster. That costs money. Oh, well, we might want Quinn Hughes. That's going to cost money too. So the Devils need to, how do I say, cut costs where they can. And I think one of the spots that they can is backup goaltender. I believe, in my opinion, and I should have pulled the logs from 2 years ago when Nico Daws saw even more playing time. I think Daws has earned the right to be this team's backup goaltender going into training camp next year. It could get played out by another prospect, whatever. But I feel this is an area where the Devils not go cheap, but certainly go cheaper than what it would be if they were to sign Jake Allen for another year. That's my opinion. I'm assuming Allen's looking for a 2-year deal. Maybe if it's a 1-year deal, that's different. So him and Markstrom are up at the same time. But again, what a lot of fans have killed Tom Fitzgerald for, really remember right after the Kovacevic signing, we were saying, man, he backlogged that right defense spot, right? Where's Nemec? Where's Pesce going to go? Well, you can't do it everywhere. You did it defensively, and I have issues with that. But you can't then double down and do it at goaltender as well, right? At some point, Daws has got to play because they have other goalie prospects that are coming. So you have to clear out the pipeline at some point. You got to clean the pipes. You got to call the plumber. You got to clean the pipes out at some point. And the guy between the pipes, Nico Daws, in my opinion, over the last 2 years, despite a small sample size this past season, but taking his large sample size the season before, adding it into this year, I think the Devils should make the decision to let Jake Allen walk, and I would bring Nico Daws as your backup goaltender for next season. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear yours. Please leave it in the comment section. By the way, I love reading the comments. I know there's not some good ones in there. There's ones, calling me a doofus and everything. That's okay. All right. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And that's the best part about these videos and about this fan base is everybody's got an opinion and we want to hear it. So leave it in the comment section. I'm okay with the Devils letting Jake Allen walk in free agency. Are you? What do you think? I see the other side of it though. I see the having two veterans. If Markstrom gets hurt, something crazy like that, which happened this past year, okay, Allen's able to step in. Maybe they want to reduce Markstrom's starts, maybe to 50 max. Okay, so you need somebody to pick up those other 32. I understand why fans want to bring back Jake Allen. And honestly, on a personal level, I do too. I just think money-wise, I think it's time for the Devils to move on, and they got to clean out the pipeline. They got to let prospects flow, or they got to trade the prospects. It's one or the other. And I think the Devils in this spot should allow the prospect to come up next year and be the backup. So that's my opinion on the Jake Allen situation. Leave us a comment. I know everybody's got their thoughts. I know some people aren't going to agree. That's okay. All right. And speaking of, I just want to touch on last video. I want to thank everybody because that video really skyrocketed on the channel, and it was insanity. The views on it and the comments, again, like, I don't want to lose sight of the overall point. I know a lot of people had commented, hey, you're leaving Lazar out, you're leaving this guy. Guys, the point was that the bottom six is not good enough for this roster to compete, which is what the Devils want to do. They feel like they have a cup window. They feel like they can go deep in the playoffs. If that is to stay open, they have to get better in the bottom six. And I do agree, by the way. There was somebody, who pointed out Michael's 7134, okay, and I got to give it out to, I believe it's Morky Jacobson 9438, okay. You guys pointed out the interesting part about Cotter is that the hits are involved as well. And I agree. And if you watch the end of that video, I'm really talking about, I just want him to play smarter. I think Paul Cotter's a great bottom six player. I think he's got to be just smarter. He takes a lot of dumb penalties, and that's something the Devils have to clean up. And by the way, just to clean the record straight, okay, I did not say Dawson Mercer should be forcing Jack Hughes off the wing. What I was saying is Mercer on his trajectory 2 years ago was a player that in the scenario of 2023-2024 when Jack Hughes had the wrist injury and he couldn't play center and he couldn't take those faceoffs, you should feel comfortable that Dawson Mercer is stepping in instead of what you've got in the last 2 years, which is now you're kind of like, man, who do we have left? And it's Mercer or Dowling, something like that. So I just want Dawson Mercer to play better, okay? And I want the bottom six to play better. Tatar, Lazar. Lazar's an interesting case, though, with the injuries, and he came out after the season, said he was popping pills for months. Just absolute craziness. But again, I want to thank everybody for listening, for watching, whether you love it, whether you hate it, whether you can't get enough of it, whether you're ready to throw your phone out the window. We appreciate you here on Devil's Digest. Please leave comments. Please let us know what you think. And man, I can't wait to hear from everybody. So again, be one of the subscribers here at Devil's Digest. I'm Ryan the Goose Gosiker. Check out Aiden Barrett's videos as well. He's doing an excellent job, and just love working with the guys. So have a great day, everybody, and we'll catch you next time on Devil's Digest.